The young guys, I tell them all the time. I haven't told them, but I wonder, why when you start making big money, the next thing I do, I see you at the ringside with $250,000, $300,000.
Well, they ain't never had it, you know, right? And it's like, that's what they've been looking at when they didn't have it.
Here's a case of having men around you. Where's somebody to say, wait a minute, man, you can take this money, put yourself in a position where you can own the jewelry store.
Hey, Floyd, do you think if you only have one arm, you would still manifest this life and success? You'd find a way to do it?
Man, I'll be cold-blooded with one arm. I'll be cold-blooded with two arms. And please get the necklaces for the ladies and gentlemen.
You gotta zoom in, man.
You know?
I've only seen CZs like that before.
Oh, no, these ain't no armor, man.
I should have worn sunglasses.
You already know, ain't no CZs.
TMZ, Floyd says roughly $100 million worth of bling has handed over to a Miami jeweler for only $13 million in return. And he said a huge chunk of the collection is still sitting with the dealer. Floyd also says he unknowingly signed paperwork transferring ownership of his Gulfstream jet with a buyer section left blank, and says he still doesn't know where the aircraft money went.
We have all watched videos of Floyd Mayweather opening massive cases filled with millions, showing off expensive luxury watches, carrying bundles of $100 bills and designer bags, and paying cash for collections of supercars. But behind that eye-catching display is a complicated financial situation that has many well-known figures in sports and entertainment questioning whether the numbers truly make sense. The real issue is not only how much money he earned, but how quickly a billion-dollar business empire can start to crack when it is pushed by pressures that cannot be maintained forever.
Joe, with the lavish lifestyle that Floyd has built over the years, the jet, the entourage, non-stop spending, has he created a lifestyle that when he was making $200, $400 million a year, he was able to enjoy? Has he created something that he can no longer keep up with?
Yeah, I think so, Unc, because if you think about Floyd obviously having to maintain the image of being Money Mayweather Joe.
Yeah.
Being at one point, being at top's highest paid Forbes, top highest paid athlete at one point. The lifestyle that he did live, you understood once you stopped fighting, once you retired, regardless of what investments you made, there are no investments in this world, I don't care who you are, Uncle Joe, that you can make that can still accumulate that type of revenue that the sport that you play can. It's not that many. You gotta hit, you gotta get in good and hit it when it's hot, and it happens very seldom. It happens very seldom. So I hate this. I hate this for my young bull, man. I hate this for my young bull, Floyd. Hopefully this situation gets rectified, especially when it comes to having people around you, having other people in control of your finances. That's a no-no, Unc. Joe, that's...
Virgil Hunter, the legendary trainer, understands better than most how this dangerous trap catches top fighters. He explains that many young athletes fall into a harmful mindset as soon as they receive their first huge paycheck. After growing up with very little, their first reaction is often to focus on all the things they never had and rush out to buy everything at once.
The young guys, I tell them all the time. I haven't told them, but I wonder, why when you start making big money, the next thing I do, I see you at the ringside with $250,000, $300,000.
Well, they ain't never had it, you know, right? And it's like, that's what they've been looking at when they didn't have it.
Here's a case of having men around you. Where's somebody to say, wait a minute, man, you can take this money, put yourself in a position where you can own the jewelry store over a period of time, and then you can wear everything free, like Johnny Dang, right? He owns a jewelry store, so he can bling up anytime he wants to, any which way he wants to, because he owns it. You got something around your neck that's going to depreciate, right, in time. So you take that 300 and you can go get 4 or 5 houses, put 50,000 on houses in certain neighborhoods, and now you got income coming, equity building, and everything like that. It's none of my business, but it does affect me in a way when I see value around your neck. When I see generational wealth being put around your neck and hung up in the closet somewhere when you're not doing it. I see generational wealth.
Before long, you see world-class fighters sitting ringside wearing custom diamond chains worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But as Hunter points out, that expensive jewelry is not an asset that helps build long-term wealth and often loses value over time. Instead of using that same money to purchase several income-producing properties and create lasting financial security, many athletes tie up their money in flashy status symbols. It is a short-term approach, and everything can change instantly because of one bad decision, a serious training injury, or a single punch that lands at the wrong moment.
Buy what, a Bentley? or something like that, you see?
If you can afford it.
If you can afford it,
But
yeah.
that's the tricky part. Can you afford it?
Can you afford it?
You know?
Not the flaw. So, but it's a short sport. It's a short game. It can end at any time.
Straight up.
Anytime. I don't care how good you are, anything, one wrong move.
Just be an angel.
Wrong punch in the wrong place, and it's a wrap. You see, and you never recover from that. So, no, I appreciate when you got out, and I don't ever have to look back. You know, I used to tell you, I don't ever want to be an old coach on a stump, sitting somewhere talking about, man, I should have done this because I allowed somebody to keep going and getting brain damage. I don't care who it is. If I got guys in here now and they don't look like they got it, I'm gonna tell them. I don't care if you got $1 million payday on the table. I'm gonna tell you, because I'm not gonna sell out to money.
Yeah.
You know, I care about you. You're in a sport that you can get hurt, killed, it affect not only you, but your family and everything else. You know, so take the sport serious because it's a serious sport. It's a deadly sport. And then when you have ability and you going through the routines and everything is shining your way, still something can show up out of nowhere. There's always somebody that's your kryptonite. Always somebody that's your kryptonite. And usually you meet them at the time that your skills are eroding.
This spending lifestyle is exactly what grabbed Joe Rogan's attention, and he spoke openly about how the boxing legend manages his wealth. Rogan compared these habits to keeping a financial faucet fully open, while believing the money will never stop coming in. When everyday purchases include Bugattis worth millions and custom watches priced above $3.5 million, cash reserves can disappear at an alarming rate. Buying just one luxury car and a matching watch can instantly cost around $10 million. Rogan also pointed to a major gap between the extravagant claims seen on social media and the assets that can actually be verified.
Which I don't know if Mike is, but most fighters aren't. Most fighters concentrate on fighting.
Mm-hmm.
To be business-minded, that's a giant distraction. You got to pay attention to all this other shit. On top of that, it's generally not how they think.
Right.
You know? I mean, look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap. Just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever, like there's all these lawsuits. Like he hasn't been paying things and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he got to be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. You got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that shit. Like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that.
When your whole image is built around being the richest person in every room living a simple or even slightly modest lifestyle starts to feel impossible. That mindset can push you into an endless cycle of constantly showing off just to keep the appearance alive and maintain the image people expect to see.
When he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
Mm-hmm. They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know?
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the stadium, like so he didn't have to pay for an apartment. So smart.
Yeah.
So clever, you know. Yeah. But that's a guy like preparing. Like,
ain't nobody gonna question him. You know,
exactly.
They know. Oh man, this NFL star, he got money.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not going to question if his diamond is real or not.
Well, you really can't tell.
Right.
I can't. You can't tell until you get a magnifying glass on them.
Or that's why they say we got these diamond testers.
Yeah.
They want to test your diamonds now.
This constant pressure to keep up an extravagant lifestyle often leads to a huge tax burden that many fans never think about. Chael Sonnen and Joe Rogan both challenge the idea of the flawless billionaire athlete by revealing what really happens to a fighter's earnings. The massive figures announced in headlines and press releases are usually far from the amount that actually reaches a fighter's account after promoters, managers, and business expenses take their share. Another major problem appears when tax authorities demand what they are owed. A fighter may send a staggering payment of $25 million believing everything is settled, only to later discover that tens of millions more are still due. In many cases, it is not deliberate dishonesty. It is simply poor financial management fueled by the belief that another huge payday will always come along to solve the problem.
Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. That they say can't read. That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing channel, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke. He's a gambling addict. He's got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You have never heard Cox. You never heard DirecTV. You have never heard an executive come out and confirm any of the absurd pay-per-view numbers that you believe to be true. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check? And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And...
However, the situation behind the scenes presents an even more concerning story involving leveraged assets and ongoing debt. Beneath the image of an untouchable billionaire, several reports have raised questions about significant financial obligations that remain unresolved. Critics have pointed to allegations that the boxing star accumulated more than $1 million in unpaid jewelry bills, along with hundreds of thousands of dollars owed for luxury apartment rentals, as well as outstanding expenses related to private jet fuel and maintenance.
He's gotten money up front that he needed desperately. Again, I know people don't want to hear this, but he's bleeding money. Why do you think he sued Showtime, Al Heyman, Steven Espinoza? Why do you think these are happening, people? He's selling property. He just sold his Beverly Hills mansion. You have a jeweler suing him for $1.4 million. Financially, he is bleeding money. And this is something that's been happening for years, by the way. I actually made a video years back about Floyd possibly going broke, and people that, oh, he's not going broke, Jay. What do you call this? What's going on with him and his behaviors? He felt like, he's made a lot of money, but he also felt like he was cheated out of money. You know why? See, you never notice money is missing until you start losing money, And when your money starts to run low, you realize I should have more than what I have. That's when you start seeing the lawsuits. He doesn't want to fight.
What is even more surprising is the way large amounts of cash are reportedly being obtained. Reports suggest that a huge $54 million loan was taken from a wealthy private lender with a steep 9% interest rate attached. To secure that funding valuable properties, luxury business interests, and even a private jet were reportedly used as collateral. When someone has to place their most valuable assets on the line just to access available cash, it becomes much harder to ignore the signs of financial pressure beneath the surface.
One of the other claims is about Floyd selling his jet and not receiving any money. There's mention in the complaint that the block for the purchaser was left blank. What the media misunderstood was that the plane wasn't sold for $1 like the complaint lists here. Here's the actual signed contract, which does list the consideration of $1 and OVC, and you can see Floyd's signature down below. I think what was misunderstood is that the plane didn't actually sell for $1. OVC means other valuable considerations, which means the sale was for more than $1. This happens when private parties don't want the amount known to the public. Here's the text message between Jonah and Floyd. Jonah sent the payoff letter from the lender of his private jet, as well as a letter from Navy Federal Credit Union regarding a $2.787 million payoff. What happened was Floyd took out a large loan against the value of the jet. So when the jet was sold, a large chunk of the money went to pay off the loan and many of his other debts. Here's the payoff demand statement for the jet. Highlighted is borrower named Floyd Mayweather. The total loan payoff is around $2.79 million, and the highlight in the bottom left is the property collateral as the Gulfstream Learjet. This is the bank wire transfer receipt from the credit union. Both of these documents were sent to Floyd, so he's clearly lying about the jet only selling for $1 and him being out of the know on the jet selling. The picture on the left is Floyd signing the contract, and the picture on the right is Floyd holding the aircraft purchase and sale agreement right after signing it. Does he look disappointed in the terms of the sale? This is the text Jonah sent to Floyd in September 2025, indicating that the house and airplane contracts were done, and Floyd responded, "Let's go." To make it even more clear that Floyd knew about the plane purchase and the terms of the purchase and sale, here's a text between Floyd and Jonah where Floyd writes, "Can you call me about the plane, please? I need for you to update me, please." And Jonah responded. One of the other claims is about Floyd selling his jet and not receiving any money. There's mention in the complaint that the block for the purchaser was left blank. What the media misunderstood was that the plane wasn't sold for $1 like the complaint lists here. Here's the actual signed contract, which does list the consideration of $1 and OVC, and you can see Floyd's signature down below. I think what was misunderstood is that the plane didn't actually sell for $1. OVC means other valuable considerations, which means the sale was for more than $1. This happens when private parties don't want the amount known to the public. Here's the text message between Jonah and Floyd. Jonah sent the payoff letter from the lender of his private jet, as well as a letter from Navy Federal Credit Union regarding a $2.787 million payoff. What happened was Floyd took out a large loan against the value of the jet. So when the jet was sold, a large chunk of the money went to pay off the loan and many of his other debts. Here's the payoff demand statement for the jet. Highlighted is borrower named Floyd Mayweather. The total loan payoff is around $2.79 million, and the highlight in the bottom left is the property collateral as the Gulfstream Learjet. This is the bank wire transfer receipt from the credit union. Both of these documents were sent to Floyd, so he's clearly lying about the jet only selling for $1 and him being out of the know on the jet selling. The picture on the left is Floyd signing the contract, and the picture on the right is Floyd holding the aircraft purchase and sale agreement right after signing it. Does he look disappointed in the terms of the sale? This is the text Jonah sent to Floyd in September 2025, indicating that the house and airplane contracts were done, and Floyd responded, "Let's go." To make it even more clear that Floyd knew about the plane purchase and the terms of the purchase and sale, here's a text between Floyd and Jonah where Floyd writes, "Can you call me about the plane, please? I need for you to update me, please." And Jonah responded, "Plane is ready."
Those financial problems have now extended into the legal arena, leading to a major attempt to recover a huge amount of money. In early 2026, Mayweather made headlines across the sports business industry after filing a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime networks and several former executives in pursuit of a substantial financial settlement outside of boxing. This legal battle emerged at the same time reports from Business Insider claimed that a number of commercial properties linked to his portfolio had already been involved in serious foreclosure actions. Reports also suggested that his well-known Las Vegas strip club property faced the possibility of seizure by local authorities because of unpaid property tax obligations.
Filed a lien against Floyd Mayweather in Las Vegas. It says he owes $7.3 million for unpaid taxes in 2018 and 2023.
$7.3 million? Man, what you think you got? Kelsey Grammer? Chelsea Clinton?
Bro, what you think you got? Kelsey Grammer? 7.3 million. Man, hold on.
The boxer was recently sued for other allegedly unpaid bills. The IRS has filed a $7.3 million lien against famed boxer and entrepreneur Floyd Mayweather Jr. for unpaid taxes in 2018 and 2023. The lien was filed last month in Las Vegas, where Mayweather has property. The notice shows the balance was unpaid as of March 26th. An attorney for Mayweather declined to comment on it. The lien, through which the government can lay claim to Mayweather's property until the bill is paid. is the latest in a series of debts the 49-year-old fighter has accumulated, as Business Insider has reported. It comes amid other major developments in Mayweather's life. The ex-champ, who retired from pro boxing in 2017 and has been focused on business pursuits in recent years, recently embarked on a lucrative comeback. An exhibition bout against Mike Tyson is scheduled for April, and a pro fight against longtime rival Manny Pacquiao is slated for September at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Financial freedom begins where your 9 to 5 ends.
The financial situation becomes even more complicated when examining the downfall of several connected promotional operations, which has transformed ordinary business disagreements into highly personal conflicts. One clear example is the ongoing dispute with digital creator Logan Paul regarding a reported $1.3 million payment connected to their exhibition fight. While many critics place the blame directly on the people at the top, the actual situation appears far more complicated. The promotional company that was reportedly responsible for managing those funds quietly ceased operations, leaving those expecting payment frustrated and still waiting for their money.